If you find yourself on a low final approach, apply power immediately and raise or pitch the nose up to increase lift and stop the descent. When back on the proper approach path, set up the necessary attitude and adjust power to hold it. If you get too slow on the approach, add power to increase lift and reduce the sink rate. In either of these situations, if the landing is in doubt, go around for another approach. In a go-around situation, immediately add full power. Change the airplane's pitch attitude to slow or stop the rate of descent, and retract the flaps to 20 degrees. With the descent stopped, you can continue to raise the flaps to the takeoff position. Be cautious when raising the flaps. If you retract them suddenly at low airspeed, you might lose so much lift that you would settle onto the ground. Usually, it's best to raise the flaps slowly in small increments to allow time for the airplane to accelerate as the flaps are being retracted. Sometime you might round out too high and realize that to continue with elevator back pressure would further decrease the airspeed, resulting in a stall and a hard drop onto the runway. To prevent this, stop the roundout by slightly releasing elevator back pressure and hold the pitch attitude constant. Then let the airplane slow to the point where it begins to descend. You might also have to add some power to keep from losing lift and airspeed too rapidly. Now, continue the roundout and establish the correct landing attitude. If you're in doubt about the landing, add power and go around. In another situation, if you make a late or rapid roundout, you run the risk of an accelerated stall and a hard landing as the airplane strikes the runway. To prevent this, and before the stall, promptly add power and land normally if enough runway is left. If not, go around.
And a word of encouragement about go-arounds. You should not look at a go-around as a failed landing attempt. Rather, it is a sign of your good judgment in recognizing a hazardous situation and avoiding it.
Another situation that might call for a go-around is if you have excess airspeed on final approach as a result of a dive to try to land at a certain point. You will probably float right past the point, since you cannot round out to get the proper landing attitude set up without producing an excessive angle of attack and lift. This in turn will cause the airplane to balloon or gain altitude. The recovery depends on the amount of altitude, float, and runway length you have. If you see that you cannot land in the first third of the runway, add power and go around for another try. If you have an improper landing attitude or too high a sink rate when the airplane touches down, it will want to rebound or bounce back into the air. This occurs because the abrupt attitude change increases the wing's angle of attack and produces additional lift. If the bounce is slight and no big pitch change is needed, correct by adding enough power to cushion the next touchdown, and at the same time adjusting the pitch to the proper landing attitude. If the bounce is severe, the best procedure is to add power and go around.